You may believe that pythons are merely ferocious snakes that hide in jungles, waiting to crush their victims. That is not at all the case. A billion-dollar industry that produces meat, leather, and skincare goods. You may already be familiar with harvests more than 3 million pythons annually. This unexpected fact can cause you to wonder what's in your bathroom cabinet or wallet, encouraging you to study up on these snakes. These pythons, which are primarily Burmese and reticulated varieties, are perfect for harvesting because they lay 50 to 100 eggs per clutch. And reach a weight of 10 to 20 pounds in 2 to 3 years. Their meat tastes like chicken and is low in fat and high in protein. Brands like Hermes and Gucci are drawn to their skin because of its distinctive scale patterns. Oils made from python fat are used to treat joint and burn pain. Tested at skincare labs in the United States. This sector is growing outside of Asia. In Florida, collecting invasive pythons yields important products while preserving wetlands. Germany, the Netherlands, and Europe are raising pythons in order to satisfy the need for sustainable leather and meat. Use 75% less land than raising cattle. Agriculture is changing due to a trend. Egg gathering is the first step in the python harvesting process. To keep motherpythons.com, growers gather eggs within hours of laying from April to August. To make sure all of the hatchlings emerge together, these eggs are sliced open after being incubated in regulated conditions for 50 to 70 days. After surviving on yolk sacs for the first week, newborn pythons eat rodents or digest feed every 5 to 7 days. They are suitable for harvesting when they weigh 10 to 20 pounds in 2 to 3 years. Harvesting is a systematic process. For safety, workers use rubber mallets to stun pythons. Next, use low-pressure water to make a precise incision and remove the skin. To make leather, which costs $300 per square meter, the skin is salted for 24 to 48 hours, then tanned and colored. The price range for meat was $10 to $20. Popular in Asia, 0 cents per pound is now being tested in eateries in the US and Europe. Python fat is turned into therapeutic oils, and in 2025, a Florida company will introduce a line of skincare products that lower inflammation and become well-liked in the area. There are obstacles in this expanding sector. Miami chefs are attempting to influence the opinions of many Americans by serving python meat at festivals. Animal welfare organizations demand bigger cages and more humane harvesting practices. And EU Rule 107/209 mandates CITES certification for sustainable commerce in Europe. Although scaling up could put a burden on feed sources, US farms safeguard the ecosystem by using secure cages to prevent escapes. Pythons can digest 10% plant-based feed, according to research from 2025, allaying environmental worries. Harvesting pythons provides a sustainable way ahead. Compared to cow farming, it uses 75% less land and generates a tenth of the emissions needed to meet global climate targets. In Florida, invasive pythons are harvested for their flesh and leather, while also restoring wetlands. Python tacos are tasty and good for the environment, according to a Miami retiree who had them at a festival. Python dishes are being served at restaurants in Berlin, Europe, and are attracting customers with their eco-friendly appeal. These endeavors are conquering obstacles. In 2025, researchers discovered that pythons can digest plant-based feed, which lessens the need for animal products and saves money. With us chefs producing meals like python burgers, education campaigns are pushing python meat as a low-fat healthful protein. Humane harvesting is ensured by stricter welfare standards, in line with OA principles, which boosts public acceptance. According to a 2025 ABC News story, Piper meat may be available in U.S. supermarkets by 2030. This industry turns pythons from feared predators into food sources, addressing food security in a warming planet, fashion, and healthcare. By selecting certified python leather or sampling python-based cuisine at nearby eateries, you can show your support for it. The planet is becoming greener as a result of these efforts. Python harvesting has the potential to revolutionize sustainable agriculture, as Forbes stated in 2025. Accepting this shift helps ensure that resources are handled responsibly in the future. Hi there, lovers of the farm. Were you aware that alpaca wool generates over $500 million annually? How do these cuddly Peruvian animals get inside fancy shops? Let's explore the processing factory's wonders. Have you ever worn an alpaca sweater? Let's get started after you leave your thoughts below. Alpaca wool was referred to as the fiber of the gods by the ancient Incas, who displayed it like a solid piece of gold. According to National Geographic 2019, a textile tradition began when alpacas were domesticated 6,000 years ago in the Andes of Peru. According to the International Trade Center, Peru will export $200 million worth of alpaca fiber in 2023, accounting for 85% of global production. Sheep wool sweaters with $50 price tags are blown out of the water by alpaca sweaters, which sell for $200 to $500 each. However, it's difficult to get into the $1 billion, $500 million market in Kashmir. The U.S. Trade Representative claims that U.S. tariffs increase expenses. Processing facilities work hard to maintain alpaca's competitiveness because of this. Are you curious as to why your alpaca scarf costs so much? Let's take a closer look. However, it goes beyond money. Signs and alpaca will support its flair. Ever wonder why a hug from an alpaca feels so warm? According to a 2021 Textile Research Journal article, its fibers are 15 to 20 microns in size. Are cozier than sheep's wool, 19 to 25 microns, and softer than cashmere. It is hypoallergenic as well. Lanolin won't irritate delicate skin. Alpacas are also green champions. As Forbes stated in 2022, they chew grass without pulling roots, and their soft feet don't damage the soil, preserving the environment. According to a USDA research from 2020, processing facilities consume only 10 gallons of water per pound of fleece, compared to 50 gallons for cotton. However, problems are building. Energy costs are severely affecting manufacturers, while climate change is drying up pastures. How can we preserve the eco-friendly vibe of alpaca? The people who make it happen have the solution, and those people have heartwarming stories to share. Introducing Sarah Thompson. At Ukiah Farm, a Colorado farmer fought a deadly drought in 2022. She informed Modern Farmer that half of our meadow was charred. Applause. She was deeply wounded by the importation of hay. Wallet, but she managed to stay afloat thanks to $10,000 cents from the sale of fleece to a processing factory. According to BBC News, Juan Morales avoided catastrophe when a foot-and-mouth outbreak in 2020 shut down his herd in Peru. His family's bacon was saved when his processing facility went digital. Employees also experienced the grind. In Textile World 2023, Maria, a manufacturing worker from Vermont, revealed how sorting fleece by hand causes wrist pain. The market might be destroyed by careless fleece grading. According to Dr. Alina Gomez, a textile expert at UC Davis, have you ever persevered through a difficult time like these people? What keeps alpaca fiber spinning is their bustle. When I think of them, I'm transported back to a time when seems like it was yesterday. When I was 12, I was exploring a dusty Peruvian market when I was drawn to the large eyes of an alpaca. They hummed softly, like a lullaby. I was given a buttery silky design by an elderly weaver. She said, "This is our soul." When I witness fleece going through a processing machine to become your next scarf, that memory really sticks in my head. Every thread seems to be sewn with Peru's heart. Though factories connect alpaca farming to modern design, it still feels like a time capsule. Have a craft that reminds you of your past. The struggle to maintain the alpaca's survival is fueled by this nostalgia. However, things aren't always easy. There will be some significant hiccups. Alpacas have a lot of work ahead of them, according to the Wall Street Journal 2024. US processing industries have laid off 20% of their workforce since 2019, according to Reuters. ATB outbreak in Peru in 2023 cost farmers $5 million. but there is still hope. According to Textile Today, factories are utilizing AI to grade fleece 15% more quickly. Additionally, social media is promoting it. 2 million people viewed the trendy farm on TikTok. The alpaca is a cash cow because to its rarity, top fleece costs $20 a pound, $10 for double wools. Alpacas are able to shine in contrast to the saturated market for cashmere, which technology has the potential to elevate your favorite business. What is the main lesson to be learned from this woolly tale? Alpaca wool is more than just a high-end fabric. It serves as a lesson in perseverance, eco-friendly living, and pursuing excellence. From Inca rulers to contemporary processing plants, it's a heartwarming and ambitious tale worth $500 million. Farmers like Juan and Sarah inspire us to persevere in the face of adversity. You're supporting a farmer and the environment the next time you buy an alpaca sweater. Which sustainable swap will you attempt? For more farm stories, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Let's maintain the alpaca spirit, spread the word, and give alpaca wool. Welcome to Here's the Secret to Leveraging Cutting-Edge Technology to Produce Beef of Exceptional Grade. Modern technology is being used by American ranchers to transform the production of cattle. How do they make the safest, tastiest steaks in the world? What is the key to this $105 billion nonsensical industry? Join us in discovering the farming of the future by leaving a comment with your guest. The story takes place in the heartland of America, where ranchers like Tom, a third-generation farmer from Texas, raised cattle by following their instincts. He now uses technology straight out of a science fiction film to monitor his herd, having replaced his notepad with a tablet. Producing premium beef in a $15 billion, cutthroat business where just 10% of meat is considered top tier is a problem. The query that starts our adventure: how does a conventional ranch rise to the top of the world quality rankings? Ranching has changed over time. Even the best ranches are in danger due to rising expenses, illness, threats, and the need for constant quality. One lousy batch can destroy a reputation, and one sick cow might cost thousands of dollars. However, the rules are being rewritten by technology. Modern farms use Internet of Things (IoT) sensors that attach to cows' ears to track temperature, feed efficiency, and heart rates in real time. By identifying health problems early, these devices save feed costs by 20% and increase herd productivity by 35%. Going one step further, artificial intelligence uses data analysis to determine when a cow's meat reaches its optimal grade, ensuring that every steak is so tender it melts in your lips. Processing facilities in Texas and elsewhere are still innovating. Robots increase productivity by 40% by slicing beef with surgical accuracy. By detecting even the smallest impurities, X-ray scanners ensure that every meal is safe. Sustainability is also crucial. One is saved by a Nebraska plant. 5 million gallons of water each year, by 90% of its supply is recycled, and it is partially powered by solar energy. Maria, a plant worker whose team delivers to 50 nations, claims that her beef feeds the world. This goes beyond production. It is a symphony of sophisticated technology. Combining ranching knowledge with technology is the key. One ranch in Montana chooses premium cattle breeds using artificial intelligence, generating meat that is competitive with Wagyu from Japan. This strategy supports 60,000 American employment and produces 12 billion cents a year. Imagine a steak that represents advancement in addition to being delicious. From New York to Tokyo, racing tables are available. Are you curious about how AI chooses the ideal cow? If you are blown away, hit the like button. American beef has become a global icon thanks to technology, which includes robotic plants and Internet of Things sensors. Greener, safer, and tastier. Workers like Maria and ranchers like Tom are demonstrating that both innovation and tradition can produce exceptional meat that is worthy of celebration. Not only is this $105 billion 0 cents industry surviving, it is flourishing, providing customers with value and Theplanet. It's your time now. Which emerging technology do you believe will revolutionize farming? Post your opinions in the comments section and hit the like button if you discovered something new. To see our next film on how AI is transforming chicken farming, subscribe and press the bell. One thing is evident as the sun sets over a ranch in Nebraska. The future of beef has arrived, and it's amazing. See you at the following one. Hi everyone, in the United States alone, more than 130 million pigs are processed into pork annually. That translates to roughly 353,000 pigs every day entering the processing plant. Have you ever wondered how bacon makes its way from a squealing pig to your plate for breakfast? What takes place in those enormous facilities? To learn more, let's explore the fascinating realm of pork production. In the United Areas, the massive industry of pork production begins on expansive farms, particularly in areas like Iowa, North Carolina, and Minnesota. These barnyards aren't your grandfathers. Up to 20,000 pigs, more than the population of many small towns, can be housed simultaneously on modern pig farms. Pigs were first domesticated approximately 9,000 years ago, but after World War II, a surge in the demand for inexpensive meat propelled modern factory farming into overdrive. In just 6 months, piglets developed to a market weight of roughly 280 pounds, according to USDA scientific research, thanks to climate-controlled barns and feed that has been adjusted. How would you feel, though, about consuming an animal that was raised in a room no bigger than your bedroom? Millions of pigs travel after they're prepared. They are literally transported by trucks to processing facilities in locations like Tar Heel, North Carolina, and Sioux City, Iowa, as well as even from Canada. A 2023 National Pork Board report states that the U.S. pork industry exports about every year 27 billion pounds of pork are produced, which is worth an incredible 23 billion to the economy. But things aren't always easy. Every year, stress or overcrowding causes more than 1 million pigs to not satisfy quality standards during transportation. The American Meat Institute provided this sobering statistic. Imagine this: a pig-filled truck traveling 1,000 miles on I-80. During your road trips, have you ever seen one of those? How do you feel about that trip? Let's now enter the processing factory, where the actual activity takes place. We process 1,200 pigs an hour. It's noisy, fast, and you don't stop. Mike, an employee at a Smithfield Foods facility in Illinois, told me when I spoke with him. A 2022 financial report from Tyson Foods, a pork giant, revealed $6 billion in pork revenue. Alone, these factories operate around the clock, especially before holidays like Thanksgiving, when demand for pork spikes. High-speed machines cut a pig into cuts like chops or bacon in seconds, producing over 12 million tons of pork annually, enough to fill 20,000 Olympic swimming pools. But here's a question. Would you, after hearing Mike's story, would you like to work in a processing factory? The industry's size is astounding, but it's not without controversy. Dr. Jane Carter, an agricultural researcher at Iowa State University, told me that although factory farming reduces costs, it produces 200 million tons a year, which is more than some U.S. cities produce. That raises serious concerns about the environment. In contrast, a 2021 research in NATE found that smaller, pasture-based farms consume 50% less water per pound of pork while raising fewer pigs. However, factory pork keeps prices low from an economic standpoint. Bacon costs around $7 per pound, while small farmers sell it for $12. What do you value more, then, a cleaner planet or cheap pork? Let's hear what the pigs have to say, or at least consider their perspective. Animal welfare organizations like the ASPCA contend that these conditions are difficult because pigs are squeezed into spaces that are smaller than subway commuters at rush hour. If a pig could talk, it would remark, "I've got 8 square FT to move." Tight spaces are equated with efficiency at the industry counters. Less money, more pork. Compared to the 1990s, when small farms predominated, 70% of pigs today come from farms with more than 5,000 animals, according to official data from the U.S. Census of Agriculture. Have you ever reared an animal? How does a pig feel in a pipeline at a processing factory, in your opinion? Why is all of this important? Then, food isn't the only factor. It's about making decisions. Jobs are related to the meat on your plate. In the U.S., more than 500,000 international commerce. Exports account about 25% of pork production. Even discussions about the climate. Will you buy that pack of ribs the next time you're at the grocery store, knowing that 130 million pigs were processed for it? What do you think? Do you like the effect or the efficiency? To put it briefly, the pork business in America is a high-speed machine that transports millions of pigs annually to processing facilities. It's a tale of creativity, magnitude, and difficult dilemmas. Would you like to see more behind-the-scenes photos like this? Please leave a comment with your thoughts on industrial farming, or if you have a recipe for pork to offer. Since this is only the beginning of examining the true source of our food, let's continue the discussion. Warmth. 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 Warmth.
you.